Aloha kako. My name is Kapono Souza. I am a Lomi Lomi practitioner, and I am going to share with you folks a little bit about Ava. Um, this is a very important plant. It was introduced to Hawaii by voyagers. It was an important canoe plant because of its many medicinal uses as well as ritual uses. Um, you know, anytime Hawaiians did any form of activity, whether they were planting taro or gonna go fish or carve a canoe, any type of activity, the first thing a pious practitioner would do would start with some sort of ritual. And of all of the offerings that were most pleasing to the gods, the four principal gods of Ku, Kane, Lono, and Kanaloa, was of course Ava. So this plant had a very, very important role within Hawaiian culture, not just for rituals or medicinal use, but also socially. So there were many different forms, and I'm going to share with you folks just a couple of the mea that we use with Ava. Unfortunately, I do not have the plant with me to show you folks, but I'm sure you can go ahead and do some research. It's a very, very lovely plant. It's related to the pepper plant. And the main part of the plant that's used is the roots. And the roots are pounded and crushed. And in the old days, historically, you would chew the roots and masticate them, and it would mix with your saliva, and that's where the cavolactones would be released. And that mixture of saliva and the chewed plant material would be spit into the bowl, and that would be the mash that you would use to mix and extract the cavolactones from. Okay. This is called a kanoa, so a bowl, and it's filled with water. This is called an apu, which is your basic cup, your serving cup, as well as your mixing cup. Sometimes you would have kappa. This is kind of a formal, semi-formal setup, and because when drinking ava, whether socially or ritually, the first thing one does is always pule, pray. Okay, it's really important. The second thing someone does is the first cup should always go to your akua, either your deity or your aumakua, your ancestor. So the way I learned it was the first cup always goes to the gods. There's a saying, "Okiaka okiako okikino ko pula pula," is that the essence is yours and the substance is ours. So the essence or the intention or the mana behind, the thought behind Ava belongs to the gods, but the substance, the liquid belongs to us. So it's the relationship between the gods and you, and that's the contract. So when you're drinking ava in a ritual setting, and there's many different levels, but there's always some sort of compact, some sort of spiritual or verbal agreement between you and the gods. Okay, and that's solidified with the prayers. Okay. So, real quick story, how I got into Ava. In the late 90s, I was on the Big Island, and I was with a group of Kane, of men, and we were hiking actually, across the Big Island. And we had hiked up to the top of Mauna Kea, and then hiked down, and I found myself, when we finished that portion of the hike, I walked to Kauai High, and it was there at Kauai High that there's a hail. Perhaps some of you have heard of it. It's called Pu'ukohola. And it just so happened at that time there was a large ceremony taking place, and somehow I found myself being a part of it. And it was the first time that I actually witnessed high level ritual regarding Ava. And the takeaway from that for me personally was how powerful it was, and the formality, but how powerful the formality was with regards to the cultural application and use of and reverence that was attached to Ava. Today, nowadays, in a social setting, you'll see a lot of people in their garages drinking, beer. But in the last 20 years or so, that's shifted, and you've seen a lot of like Native Hawaiians or Polynesians now moving back to their historical drink of choice, which is Ava. So I'd encourage you folks to seek it out, experience it for yourselves. It's a wonderful. It has a lot of really good qualities. It's generally used as medicinally for many different uses. For pain management, it has an anesthetic type quality. It's a muscle relaxant. It has a restorative effect. It's also used to settle the opu, the stomach. Used as a digestive. So many different uses. Yeah. So I'm gonna close with a quick pule. I know this is not a lot of time to share with you folks, but do check it out. Do look on the internet and explore the possibilities of Ava. And if it ever comes up in a situation, try it. See what you think. Okay. So we're gonna close. This is a prayer that's used to call the akua. So yeah. O ku o kaneo kanaloa nali. Na umakua I te pō, na umakua I te au. Heia ka ava e. O na uiwi kupuna, a kaniko o a palala o hala kolo pupu a hao maka I ola. O ke ola ia e ke akua, a hiki ka puane ane. E ola.